Hi, I'm Adrian Salisbury from SLR Coaching, and I want to just give a simple little review on this Sigma 150-600 lens today. Okay, so I approached Sigma at the photography show earlier in the year, and I am very keen on reviewing some of their lenses. I've always been a big fan of Sigma. I've got several lenses anyway from them, and I am going to be looking at they've got some new art lenses, some prime lenses that look really nice, and they're getting some great reviews. So that's coming up, but I had an opportunity a couple of weekends ago. We went to an air show, Air Tattoo. It's the big military air show, and I contacted Sigma and said, I'd really like to have a go. I was looking actually at the 100-400, which I've got in the bag here. At the minute, my Canon lenses, the biggest I've got is a 70-200, an f2.8. So I thought, well, let's go up to 400. And actually, I'm really pleased because they said to me, no, let's, we've got, take that, but also we've got a 150-600. And actually, it's only a couple of £100 dearer than the 100-400, and I've absolutely fallen in love with this. Now sadly, I was expecting to do a review away at the air show, but it rained most of the time. It was really overcast and drab, but here are some photos from the air show anyway that you can have a look at. These have been edited in Lightroom just to try and make the clouds look a bit whiter and to boost the colours a bit in there. So yeah, I've put some saturation in, we've done the highlights and shadows, but not a lot more than that. Sharpened it up slightly, but yeah, really pleased. I wouldn't have been able to get these images before if it hadn't been for a lens like this. And that's really the appeal to me, is this is, I think, $7.99 I can buy this for. Well, I've at the minute, tend to do a lot of portrait work, so 70-200 would be the biggest lens that I would normally have, and I can't really justify, because I don't do wildlife, I don't do sport, I can't really justify for the business having anything bigger than that, but that's what I love about this lens, is it puts in my hands the ability to do some wonderful wildlife shots and some sport shots. So I've never done wildlife really in a big way, because as I say, that 200mm is as much as I can have. But now all of a sudden I can get much bigger than that, and let's have a go. So I'm going to take a few photos here. I'm really going to work this, push it right out at 600. What it does when it's back in at 150, I can lock it on here so it keeps it in place. But I take that out and it's a beast, isn't it? So we've got some bread actually. I'm keen to try, I'd love to get some ducks or something swooping in near us, but we'll see how we go. One thing I do love with this lens is what I found, it struggles at the 600 distance, trying to find something and focus on it. It struggles a little bit, and I understand, at that reach why it would struggle. But I can set on the side here. I've got lots of settings on here, but I can tell it 10 meters out to infinity, so it's no longer trying to find anything closer in than 10 meters. But what I really like in the design of this, I'm tending to hold it like this, and I'm looking through. But right where my thumb is at the back here is the focus ring, and although it's in autofocus, it will let me just focus that, and I know then that if I'm just pushing that up on this side, I'm pushing it to infinity, so I'm very likely to get in that focal plane anyway, and then when I touch on the shutter from that, it'll catch it and it'll carry on and it will follow whatever I'm watching. So even in that, really nice little design how that's there. Now I know there are all custom settings for this. I was sent a USB disk to put this onto, and I can upgrade the firmware inside here. I can preset different custom settings within this lens. I'm afraid I haven't got into that. I haven't had long enough with it, and it's kind of beyond really where I would go with this. But let's have a look at what we can get anyway. The other thing just to say, image stabilizing on here, I've got two modes with that. I've got a general image stabilizer, and then mode 2 is just what I was doing at the air show when I'm kind of tracking something in that panning movement. Might come in useful here. It'd be interesting to see what difference it is. But yeah, let's grab a few photos. It's not a brilliant day. Actually, it'll be, again, 6.3 is the aperture when I've got this zoomed right out. So yeah, it's a bit of a dull day. I'm going to have to push the ISO up a bit, but let's get going anyway. Enough talking. So this is a bit of an old trick, nice easy way to get some seagulls and stuff in flight. Jamie's going to be throwing it for me in a second, is while you're throwing stuff up in the air, these birds just kind of hover right next to you, he says. So we're totally mobbed up there by these geese and ducks. So we've just come down to this next bit. I'm hoping that if Jamie now, Bella! I got a wet dog now. I'm just hoping that the birds have all kind of given up there now. So if we start throwing bread here, I might just get those geese flying in and get the shot that I'm after. Let's have a go. So this is where this thing's struggling a bit, is when I'm got this out on 600mm, I can see a bird off in the distance and I'm trying to focus and it just doesn't seem to be able to focus too quickly with it. So I've pushed it out now to the 10mm to infinity, and this is what I'm saying, I can just use this back ring on here and know that if I just move that slightly, I'm at infinity. I'm just kind of giving it a nudge so it's not trying to go, what is he trying to look at? There's not a lot of contrast, I think that's the problem. These birds on this top of this water aren't really jumping out, but it's, there we go, we're in now. So I'm quite liking that sort of position where I'm just using my thumb on here and just pushing that out to infinity and knowing what I'm at. But I didn't get what I wanted. These geese are being way too lazy. They just swam all the way down rather than getting up and flying. I guess that's the luck of the draw and very much the nature of what we're doing here. But yeah, I'm loving this camera. Have a look at those photos. If you go over to the blog post that I've linked to below, then I'll show you in higher res what those photos are coming out like. But to me, you know, to be able to have a 600mm lens for £800 is incredible. And yeah, how does this compare alongside a Canon of the same size or a Nikon? I'm not sure, to be honest, but they're not lenses that are in my price bracket. So I'm just so thankful that, I mean, yes, I'm doing a review of this, but it won't be long before I'm out getting one of these, because it's just proved to me how much fun you can have coming out. I mean, this is just, I've walked over the road here, I've got all this next to me, but normally I wouldn't be able to touch it with a 200mm lens. So I love this, and to me, £800 is not a lot of money for what you're getting. Definitely no faults of it, really enjoying how it all works, loving the functionality of it. Yeah, big thumbs up from me for this lens. Well done, Sigma. Well, Jamie just spotted a couple of birds, I don't even know what they are. They're dipping down, they're coming back up. He said, what have they got in their mouth? Well, I've just zoomed in on this, thinking it looked like a bit of weed or something they'd picked off the bottom. They've actually got a fish in their mouth. So let's have a go. I've just put a 1.4 converter on this then. So what's that going to do? My 600 is now going to be nearly 900. That's a pretty incredible zoom. And sure enough, yep, there we go. Now I am at f9. I can't get any lower than f9. Which means I can still get a 2000 shutter speed. It's definitely not as happy trying to focus. Where are those birds gone? They've all just gone to the other side of the lake because someone's got some bread out. I think I should have followed him.